Hello and welcome. Today we're going to be talking about utilizing the ISO 27001 implementation checklist. Think of it as a guide to building a genuine digital fortress for your organization. Now, this explainer is brought to you by EasyPathUni and Yazan Ibrahim, and our goal here is to keep things really straightforward. We'll use real-world examples to make these concepts stick so you can actually apply them. All right, let's get into it. We're going to lay out the blueprint for your company's digital security.
So this is the big question, isn't it? The one every organization really has to face. I mean, every single day, the threats out there are evolving. We're talking sophisticated data breaches, constant cyber attacks. It's relentless. So how in the world do you build a defense that can actually stand up to that kind of pressure? And maybe more importantly, how do you protect what is absolutely your most critical asset? Your information. Well, the answer is a master blueprint, and it's called ISO/ISO 27001. You can literally think of it as the architectural plan for your digital fortress. This isn't just about putting up a firewall or installing some software. It's a globally recognized standard for a complete information security management system, or ISMS. It's all about systematically managing and protecting your information by looking at the whole picture: people, processes, and technology.
And you know, this blueprint just got a pretty major update. A new version, ISO 27001-2022, was published back in October 2022, and it was specifically designed to reflect the modern threat landscape. So here's the really crucial part, that deadline. If your organization is certified under the old 2013 standard, you have until October 31st, 2025 to make the switch. So that date is super important.
Now, what's so interesting here is how this shows the biggest change between the versions. The old standard, it had 114 different security controls, and they were organized into 14 separate domains. The new one, though, simplifies all of that, grouping 93 controls into just 4 modern thematic areas. It's leaner, it's much more logical, and it's aligned with the kind of threats we're all facing today.
And this wasn't just a simple reshuffle. Nope. The 2022 update adds 11 brand new controls. And these are defenses designed specifically for the world we live in right now, tackling big challenges like cloud security, preventing data leakage, and using proactive threat intelligence.
So, you're ready to start building this fortress. Where do you begin? Well, first things first, you need a solid foundation. And that's exactly what the core of the standard, clauses 4 through 10, is all about. These clauses help you create the management system itself. The leadership, the planning, the support structures, basically everything that's going to hold your defenses together. You know, we can actually break those 7 management clauses down into a really simple 3-step process. First up is strategy and leadership. This is where you define the scope of your ISMS, the perimeter of your fortress, and you get top management completely on board. Step 2 is execution and support. Here, you're planning your risk treatments, you're gathering all the resources you need, and you're actually putting your defenses into operation. And finally, step 3, evaluation and improvement. This is where you're constantly monitoring performance, running audits, and always making improvements.
All right, so the foundation is laid. Now it's time to activate the defenses. Let's move on to Annex A and take a closer look at how we build out our active security measures. Think of these as the guards at the gate, the locks on all the doors, and the surveillance systems.
This chart does a fantastic job of showing the 4 new themes for those 93 controls. As you can see, organizational controls make up the biggest slice of the pie, followed pretty closely by technological controls. Then you've got physical and people controls. Let's just take a quick look at each one.
First up, we've got organizational controls. You can think of these as the rules of engagement for your entire fortress. They're the policies, the governance structures, and the high-level procedures that are going to dictate how security is managed across the whole organization. This covers some really fundamental stuff, like keeping an inventory of all your assets, setting security requirements for your suppliers, and, of course, having a rock-solid plan for managing security incidents. It also covers your readiness for business continuity and making sure you're complying with major regulations like GDPR or HIPAA.
Next up, we have people controls. Look, a fortress is only as strong as the people who are inside it. This theme is all about securing the human element, which is often your most valuable and, let's be honest, most unpredictable asset.
So what does this mean in practice? It means doing things like background checks when you hire people, running continuous security awareness training, and having really clear policies for remote work. And this is a big one. It also means having a bulletproof process for revoking all access the second an employee leaves the company.
Okay, now for the physical world. Even a digital fortress still exists in a physical space. So, physical controls are all about protecting the servers, the offices, and the hardware where your information actually lives and breathes.
Yeah, we're talking about the literal walls, gates, and locks here. Things like restricting access to server rooms, making sure you securely dispose of old hard drives, monitoring your facilities with cameras and sensors, and even protecting against environmental threats like fire or floods.
And finally, we get to the high-tech weaponry. Technological controls are all the software and hardware systems that are actively defending your fortress against cyber threats, day in and day out. This is where you'll find all the modern essentials, right? Things like multi-factor authentication, strong encryption for your data, and data leakage prevention tools to stop sensitive information from walking out the door. It also includes proactive stuff like monitoring for threat intelligence and building security into your code from day one.
So, you've built the foundation. You've activated the defenses. Is the job done? Oh, not even close. And this is such a critical point. Building the fortress is just the beginning. Now you have to maintain the watch, because security is a continuous process, not a one-time project.
And if you take one thing away from this whole explainer, let it be this. ISO 27001 is not a rigid, one-size-fits-all checklist you just tick off. True success, real security, comes from adapting this framework to fit your organization's specific context, your unique risks, and your business goals. It's a guide, not a straitjacket.
I just want to leave you with this final thought. The threat landscape out there is always changing, which means your defenses have to evolve right along with it. That's why continual improvement isn't just some buzzword in the standard. It's the only way you can ensure your digital fortress actually remains resilient and effective for years to come.